Welcome everybody to TNG Online Connect. So obviously if it's your first time, the whole point of TNG Online Connect is to widen your scope further than just your group, region wide. So we've got people from all over New Zealand from TNG. And then obviously it's an opportunity to get some awesome guest speakers on board as well. And talking about guest speakers, today we have Amanda from Virtual Coastie. So Amanda is a virtual assistant, and what she's going to be doing today is representing the benefits of like really supporting tradies so they can focus on what they do best. So are you stuck in that office when you should be out on site? Are you spending all night, trying to do those payrolls and catching up on admin and really not getting to the stuff that actually makes you money? That's the stuff that Amanda's going to be homing in on. And she's just going to go through, what it is that a VA actually does, what a virtual assistant does, just some 8 tasks that you can actually outsource to free up some of your time, and then obviously some tech tools that can help you in your business. So even if you aren't in a trade, it's definitely content that is applicable to any business. And I, for one, am always looking to outsource. The less work I can do, the better, because I'm busy enough itself. So Amanda, take it away.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'll just share my presentation here.
Cool, we can see that.
And so, so what I do is I support busy tradies in their day-to-day admin and bookkeeping needs. So just got a lovely little presentation here. So first off, what is a virtual coastie? So I am a virtual assistant, work remotely, supporting trade businesses in all of their admin and bookkeeping needs. And the coastie part comes from, I live on the Hibiscus coast, so that's where the coastie part comes from. So we're a team of specialised tradie virtual assistants. So we do just specialise in services for trades. And we are business owners in our own right. So we have a variety of remote services for small to medium businesses and consultants and entrepreneurs. And there's a huge network in New Zealand now, thanks to COVID. So here's just a few services that other virtual assistants can offer. So outsourcing is a great way to take something off a small business owner so they can focus on their niche and what they're good at, because we can't be good at all of it. And no two virtual assistants are the same. We all have our own superpowers, and that is why you get in experts to help you in what they know best. So at Virtual Coastie, we focus mainly on the admin and bookkeeping services from the day-to-day management of that. So we have set up Fergus job management system is the main one that we focus on, because most of the clients that we attract have no systems initially, and they want something that's really easy that they can track their jobs on and get accurate costs. So we can come in and set that all up for them and take all of the hard copy paper away and get that all digital. A lot of the clients that I start out with have no systems in place. They're just trying to do it the best way that they can because they don't know any other way. A lot of them obviously became tradies for a reason. They don't like paper. So we can do all of that. So we offer service plans, which gives them a range of services. So it can start out from as little as 10 hours per month. And that just gives them some really basic help so that they can get back out on site up to 40 hours. And it's the great thing about a virtual assistant is that you can scale it to what you need. And fluctuate depending on what's going on in your business. We've recently put together on the website 101 tasks that you could outsource to a tradie VA. So you can download that on our website. We have callback service. As most of you probably know, a tradie's phone goes all day, every day, and they often just need it to be quiet so they can actually do the work on site. So processing supplier invoices, getting them all entered, and then preparing them for payment at the end of the month. And so they're getting a visual of how much they're actually paying out. We do payment claims and retentions. A lot of small businesses, as they start growing their business, they don't actually know how the payment system, payment claims and retentions work. So we can help step them through that process. And as everyone has heard, price books, getting those up to date and keeping them up to date is hugely important for their quoting. There's constant price increases every month. So they need to make sure that they are quoting their jobs, ensuring they're still keeping their margin. Scheduling jobs, we set up and work with the team as a whole so that the team can get their schedules updated rather than having to go through the boss and wait until he gets home at night. Checking off timesheets and processing payroll, going through the WIP reports and making sure that they are they're invoicing all of those little jobs that they perhaps started at the beginning of the month and forgot about as the month has gone on, and helping with quote templates. So those are just some of the key things that we can take off a tradie's plate so that they can get back out on site. So 7 benefits of hiring a virtual assistant. So you can delegate. So imagine having someone that you could call or message and offload those tasks. You've just left a site meeting and you can call your VA and get the jobs done and scheduled without even having to get back to your computer. We're flexible. You can be to meeting your needs. So a lot of my clients, again, because they are on the tools all day, they don't have time during the day necessary to catch up. So we can be flexible and have a chat at 7 o'clock at night if that's what works, to get those key things off the plate. Getting time off. Most of them, whenever the last time they actually took some time off, having a VA can give you the flexibility to do that, because we build the relationship with the suppliers and the customers that we can just go and call them and sort it out, and they know they can just call your VA to get things sorted so that you can actually have some time without your phone constantly ringing as well. Increase productivity. You're paying for our expertise and our knowledge with our tech tools, and be as efficient as possible. And of course, our time is 100% productive because you're not paying for the downtime, coffee breaks and stuff like that. We have industry knowledge. So your time is precious and you don't have to spend all your time explaining every detail. Your VA knows the construction industry and therefore the terminology and how things happen. So that just shorthand from the guys, it's normal, and they just want it to be done. And focusing time. So I encourage my clients to get out there and be focusing more on the revenue generating activities, talking to their customers and getting onto that next big job, because they are their business as well. So it's really important. And then we can just take over the day-to-day stuff so that they can just focus on that. Not saying that we can't help out with quoting or following them up, but I find that they have the relationships with the customers and it's really important for them to maintain that as well. Another big thing that we do is the lovely debt collecting. So we can be the hard person chasing the money, which just takes the pressure off the business owner always being the bad guy. And it's cost effective because you're not paying a full-time wage and all of the costs that go along with that, like KiwiSaver and ACC. potentially you could be saving 40,000 a year and getting the same amount of work out of your VA. So I'm part of the VA network, and they have done a cost comparison for how much a full-time employee costs versus a virtual assistant. This is taking into the productivity rate of an employee and all the other costs. So as you can see, there's 73,000 for a full-time employee, and you take it all into account, and where a virtual assistant can cost you around 33,000 a year. This is also something that I talk to my clients about, is not only is their staff costing them the hourly rate, they're actually paying them through their wages, but actually we work out all of this stuff as well, so that they actually got the real cost of per hour rate, so then they can make sure that they're charging accordingly and making enough to cover their overheads as well. As I mentioned, I am a member of the Virtual Assistant Network of New Zealand, and it is an amazing support network for business owners as well, as we learn all that comes with business owners and tradies. Likewise, we're not going into the trades to do all the admin and paperwork. And while I'm not an expert in everything and I try and stay in my lane, I have an amazing network of other VAs that we can outsource to. And I was applied for the awards this year, and I was lucky enough to become a finalist in 2 categories, along with the lovely Kelly that was here. So yeah, that was an amazing experience to actually go through that process. And one of my clients, we're going to be looking at doing some awards for him for the work that he's doing next year, so that now that he's leveling up as well. We have, so there's a lot on the website, so you can go and check it out at virtualcoastie.co.nz. Another thing that I do also work out with my clients, especially when they're looking at purchasing new vehicles, is actually what the annual cost is. And we also take this into account when we're working out the guys' actual hourly rates, because if they've got a ute or a vehicle that they're getting to site with, that needs to be covered as well. So I recently did a comparison of this a couple of months ago, and so it can get really quite costly in that first year of buying a new vehicle, with all the finance and depreciation as well, and the rise in things. So it's not just me at Virtual Coastie, also starting to grow a team, and hopefully going to be bringing on a new team member before the end of the year. So we've got Michelle helps out with social media and writing blog posts and stuff like that for me. And then we've got Esther as well. So she is she's currently studying to be an accountant. So she is one of the team, and she looks after the clients directly. A couple of quick facts about me. I hate public speaking, but over the years, and thanks to TNG, I'm getting more and more comfortable with doing our 10-minute presentations. So onwards and upwards. I've been working in the tradie industry for 15 years with electricians and plumbers mainly, and drain layers. So I have a lot of experience. And I also come from a family of tradies. Both my dad and my brother are diesel mechanics, and another brother is a builder, and my mum works for a mechanic. And my sister, she's no longer working there, but was also working for a trucking company. So we understand the life. The big reason why I'm doing what I'm doing for the last couple of years is the family. It gives the flexibility, and I encourage my customers to also take time out and spend time with their family. Life is really short, and if we've learned that over COVID, it's really important to be there and enjoy those moments. So I decided to put in some tips that I use for my customers and myself, that hopefully will help some of the TNG network. These are not trade specific, they're just helpful tools. So one of the big things is that I do for my clients is create a handbook of their systems and processes using Google Sites, so that when eventually they may grow where they do need a full-time person, then we can pass on all the training and knowledge for the business, and they have that at their fingertips. And anyone can step in and do that role, which is really handy, which allows me and my team to also have holidays and have breaks, and then someone else can just step in and do that role. Unroll Me is a fantastic tool I've discovered this year, and cleaning up your inbox and unsubscribing from those millions of emails that you get. And that has been a big change in my personal email address, email accounts. It's so much quicker to check my emails when it's not full of all the noise. So I highly recommend you do that. We have access to a lot of information as virtual assistants, and tradies are very, very good at handing over their passwords to their entire life. But we need to keep those safe and secure. So we use a tool called LastPass, and that allows me to share the passwords with the team and also remove them if the need arises. And it's just keeping everything safe and secure. So that's a great tool any business owner should have, because we have passwords for everything and they're getting longer and harder. So a couple of the others are OnePass and Keep. Airtable is another very helpful tool. I've been using it in my business to track my clients and the profitability of each of my clients, as well as using it as a recruitment tool. So I actually have people applying, and they can fill out a form and answer the questions that I need to have answers for before, so that it helps me narrow down who I'm potentially looking at interviewing. So that's quite a really good tool. It's Excel, but you can do so much with it. And the lovely Canva. Some of you might be very familiar with this, but it is an online tool that helps people that are not designers design things for their social media, which is also so important for all businesses, including tradies. So there is a free version, and you can do the basics, and yeah, that can really help businesses trying to do things. So how can you help me in my business? If you know any tradies who wish they could clone themselves and be able to, do the work, who haven't had a holiday in far too long, who's always on the phone way too much, or who wants to grow their business and could really, really use an expert pair of hands to come in and help them with their business, I'd really appreciate you putting a referral through. I offer a 30-minute discovery call so we can have a chat and work out what their business needs and requirements are, because they all vary. And so we can have a chat and work out a tailored plan that can work for them. So that is the end. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions?
Thanks, Amanda. Definitely interesting to hear a little bit about what goes on in the day-to-day of a Virtual Coastie. In terms of someone who, so some of those tools that that you recommended, is there a list of those tools on your website, or is there?
Not currently. I have plans to put that in a blog post to send out, but I haven't actually written said blog post yet. So we'll ask Michelle to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those are some tools that I use every day.
Right. Okay. So for someone who is a tradie, so obviously you've got those 100 things that you can, like, is there a list of that they can get those 100
yeah,
things
they can download
that?
They can download that from the website. So that just can give them some ideas of all of the things that they may not have thought about. So just gets the juices flowing and to think what they could actually delegate, which is a process in itself. You know, it's really hard to hand over something that you've been in control with for the life of your business, but it can just give you so much extra time to perhaps do the stuff that you enjoy. So
Cool.
So Amanda, you can work with anyone in New Zealand, like pretty much.
yeah,
doesn't matter where they are.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% virtual. But that doesn't mean that we can't do on-site. So I've got a number of clients in Auckland, and you know, we can have regular meetings and catching up, and especially in those initial first few months when you're handing over, and to actually see someone in person and know that they're a real person can be very helpful. But yeah, everything can be done digitally, virtually.
Right. Just one other question is, you don't work, you just work with tradies, eh? Don't work with any other businesses.
Yeah, just tradies. That's what I know. And yeah, I want to stay in my niche and just focus on that, and you know, give a really good service. But the Virtual Assistant Network has an amazing directory of wonderful VAs that do anything and everything. So if anyone in another industry wants an expert, there's people that specialize in real estate, there's creative VAs, websites, other agencies that have big teams and can do things from answering phones, you know, answering services and that as well. So there's a VA there out for everybody, and just taking a few hours out of their day, because 5 hours to us could mean 10, 15, 20 hours to a business owner, because they don't know how to do it the most efficient way. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you.
Amanda, do you want to touch a little bit more on, you talked about like work vehicles and the costs involved, and making sure that traders are actually accurately charging for the use of the vehicle for the time. Can you elaborate a little bit on what goes in there, and then perhaps a couple tips for tradies so that they can actually be getting back the actual costs from their work vehicles?
Yeah, so I've got a spreadsheet that for my clients I put together and have all of their team members in there, and so has obviously the hourly rate that they're paying, and then it calculates all the additional employment costs associated with KiwiSaver, and then depending on the person's role within the business, then adding in that sort of 15,000 a year. So it adds up quite quickly. You know, you could be paying someone $30 an hour, but actually they're costing $54 an hour. And therefore, and then we also take into account the overheads. So what is it costing to operate the business insurance, the website that, you know, costs an annual fee, my services, and all of those extra costs that aren't chargeable to a business, spreading that out over, not from a year, over to an hour based on employees. So obviously the more staff you have, the less you can spread that over the team. But yeah, it's really important to make sure that people are actually charging the right hourly rate. And using my drain layer as an example, we always sit down every time he's looking at giving someone a pay rise. We sit down with the spreadsheet, and he's like, right, okay, so we give him $1, you know, how much are we going to actually increase the charge out rate? And making sure, and he quite often then goes through a review of everyone's and goes, well, actually he's got more qualified, but you know, it's he probably looks at that probably every 3 months. Not that he's necessarily always increasing his price every 3 months, but you know, he's also running a business, and he needs to be not giving his time away for mates rates. So thankfully he's an excellent example of someone growing their business. So he's gone from pretty much giving the work away for free and struggling to actually focusing on doing bigger, better jobs with that margin that makes it possible to do the next one.
Other than like vehicles and pricing correctly, are there any other areas that you commonly see where tradies can actually have a big impact on their business, or like things that they're not actually charging for?
Yeah, well, there is so much the P&G for pricing up the job, making sure that they are putting in an amount for actually pricing the job. Some of these jobs can take hours and hours to price, depending on the size of it. Health and safety is another big one, you know, making sure that they make allowances. Again, for a small team, you know, they might need to outsource that, and that's still a business cost that they're having to pay for each job. And depending on the complexity of a job, they can get really expensive really quickly. So, and, you know, also, you know, they've got to allow for even bringing in specialty subcontractors themselves. So it's to be able to deliver a job to a high standard. And they've also spent years training themselves. So, I mean, taking a plumber, for example, can take, I think, 7 years to become a certified plumber. You know, it's a really long time. And if they've gone to that extent, they, you know, there's not that many of them out there. A lot of them stop at their registration. So, as an example. But yeah, the other thing that I do this time of the month is the cash flow as well. So my experience has been with my clients is that they get the invoices throughout the month in their emails, and they might have a look at it and then forget about it, and it goes off, and then they get the statement at the end of the month, and then that's what they're actually paying at the end of the month. But they've got no idea, it's all in their head as to how much they might actually be paying out. So going back to my drain layer, you know, we've just finished a big project, and so now we're working on the cash flow for Christmas, because it's going to be here in a blink, and so he's going to have the guys get a nice break over Christmas, but he's still got to pay them their wages. So we're already looking at the cash flow to fund that and making sure that we're going to have enough. And, you know, he's also got a brilliant business mind. So he's wanting to take a bit of profit out of the recent jobs and be able to put that on his equipment hire purchases. You know, the machinery is very expensive. So, so being able to plan for that stuff ahead of time rather than going, shit, I've got no money and I've got to pay wages on Monday. So yeah, that's been a huge improvement, and I'm horrified at how many tradies have done so well in their businesses, and yet it's all just working like that. So it's quite scary.
Well, there's lots of tradies in New Zealand, so lots of opportunities for improvement for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely. And I think T&G was originally started as the tradesmen's networking group before it evolved into their network group and became a wider scope than just tradies. So yeah, there's definitely a need for it. Welcome. I see you've just joined in. Theo, did you have a question? Have I put you on the spot? You might have unmuted yourself.
Might have been by
mistake.
mistake.
Yeah, no, I'm just conscious. I'm in the same office with my wife, who's also on a Zoom call with a client at the moment.
He's on another Zoom, and it's kind of
sorry. So I'll just be brief, but I just wanted to say to Amanda, Amanda's really grown amazingly, both as a person, and as a business person since she started with T&G. When Amanda started with T&G 2 years ago, she was actually working. She was an employee working for a tradie, and she took the big plunge and launched herself with Virtual Coasties in 2020. So it's been an absolute pleasure to watch that journey. So you can take a real bow, Amanda. You're always looking to improve your business and growing your business, and you're a real credit to yourself and to your business. So well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Theo. It was only ever to replace my full-time salary. So did that, and there's just so many more people out there that we can help.
On that note, Amanda, I'm a property manager, so I work with a lot of tradies, and I'll definitely keep you in mind. But it's some of them that they get you, like you say, they get so busy on the tools, and then I have to remind them sometimes about invoices because I want to pay out before the end of the month. So yeah, but also some of them are set in their ways so much, and you can see that they're so busy, and they'll save so much time and get those invoices out quicker and get paid sooner. It's just, you have to get, like, they have to have the right mindset to let go too, don't they?
They totally do, and it is a process, and we are flexible and understand that. So another one of my lovely clients, John, he is 73 years old. He's an electrician. He's still on the tools.
Yeah.
He's just plodding along. He's just doing it for the love now, I guess. But technology is not his friend. So he'll ring, and thankfully he's 10 minutes down the road. So he'll ring and he's like, it's not working. And so, like, it's just awesome that I can just say, yep, cool, I'll be there in 10 minutes, pop in, fix that app on his phone, which was the last emergency call last week, and just make it work. And it stresses him out so much because he's got all these skills and experience as an electrician, and I've got no idea how to do it, obviously, and most of us don't, but it stresses him out because it's not his forte, and it's just to have that. He was just, so relieved once I left, and his wife appreciated it too. She's dealing with his frustrations of not being able to charge her electric car.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, it's just, it depends on what they need and how much they want to let go. So there's definitely some that do it all, and then others that still really want to just hold on to sort of as much, but it's just a process, and we can just go at their pace. There's no pressure to do anything. And that's a great thing, is as a contractor, they can scale to what they need, so they think they need 5 hours, but actually they need a few more once you get in there. And how easy it is to flick a message and get something actioned. It's a big weight off their shoulders.
But they're tradies, all tradies, I mean, they keep the country going. What would we be without them? So
exactly.
Really cool.
I don't want to be fixing my toilet.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Richard, for the question. Is there any other questions from the group before we do a quick wrap around the room? Perfect. All right. So once again, thanks, Amanda. What we'll do is we'll just do a quick wrap around the room, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your business, and then we can go off into the long weekend. So what I'll do is I'll start with Kelly. Let's go with you.
Hey, so I'm Kelly. I'm part of TNG up in Comue. I am the sole female representation in my entire group, which is awesome. I do exactly what Amanda does, and I've had the privilege of watching her journey over the last 2 years and watching her really step up and take her business from, I met her first of all when she was an employee and had the privilege of watching her grow. So I don't want to steal her limelight whatsoever. I'm purely here just to sort of support her and cheer her on. But essentially my business Released is a bigger version of essentially what she does. And we also work with tradies. And we've been operational now for coming up 9 years. Love our industry. So that's me.
Very cool.
Richard.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Richard Gardner. I manage rental properties in the Manawatu and Taurua region, and I'm a member of Palmerston North TNG. So we specialise in optimising landlords' returns, and just give you an example. Earlier this month, we advertised 2 properties, and we secured tenants within 48 hours on one and 36 on another. And it was really pleasing to inform the landlords that there were no vacancies between the outgoing and the ingoing tenants. So new tenants moved in and no rent downtime, which is always good. And of course, the new tenants went in at market rent. So an ideal client for us is a landlord wanting professional, trustworthy service and understands the importance of looking after tenants is the best way to look after the investment.
Cool. Thanks, Richard. Baptist.
Good morning, TNG people. This is Baptist here from Tax Advantage. We help businesses to prosper and grow by offering services like accounting, taxation, valuation of business, bookkeeping, auditing, and AML auditing too. Our ideal client is small to medium scale businesses having a turnover of less than $5 million. And we are actively looking for not-for-profit organizations which require funding. And as funding has become very difficult, we help them get the funding, help them with the application, help them with the auditing so that they are prepared to get the funding from various sources, either be either government funding or private funding. That's Baptist. And if you know anyone who is in that category, let us know. This is Baptist from Tax Advantage.
Thanks, Baptist. Malcolm.
Good morning, everybody. TGS, Dan, sorry for my late attendance. It looks like it's a morning of coaches from what I've seen. So I'm sorry, Amanda, I was a bit late in getting to you. 10 years ago when I started this game, I might have got a bit parochial about, I wanted to share the space with any other coaches, but we all grow up over a period of time. The bottom line is that a fraction of 1% of New Zealand business owners in New Zealand use coaches. So there's plenty to go around. We just need to work together to see if we can encourage the very conservative New Zealand small business market to to reach out to people like us. So thank you for your presentation. I'm certainly going to be checking it out afterwards. I happen to work with a national group, Business Success Partners, and we work doing the sort of work that Amanda and others generally describe. Sorry again for my late attendance.
No worries. Thanks, Malcolm. So I will. I'll speak for Theo since his wife's on the call. Let's see if I can get this right. So Theo is a long-standing member of TNG, and Theo works in the insurance space. So life should not be a game of chance. So what they're doing is they are helping provide, that security, peace of mind for you, your family, and your business. Some of the insurances that they cover, obviously, your trauma, your income protection, business insurance, health, permanent disability, all those sort of insurance things. Obviously, if your future is valuable to you and you want to safeguard it, then definitely Theo at You Protect NZ, get in touch. There we go. That's my sales pitch for you, Theo. There's me. So I'm Dan. So I run Ingot, which is a design studio. So we work in the digital space. More commonly, where we're working with is businesses who have been in business for a while. They have an established website, and they've grown, and they're bringing things in from all over the place. They're using third-party apps, and they've kind of just outgrown their platform. And what they need is a tool that is both beautifully communicating what they do, but is also effective and streamlining and automating stuff so that they want to do. So a lot of the time we're building custom websites, integrating a bunch of different things, and then obviously we're designers at heart as well. So being able to build a kick-ass website that elevates you above your peers is the goal, but it needs to be functional and it needs to convert as well, and that's the space that we love to put in. So that's some of the stuff we've been up to. And then Sarah, we have you joining in from the networking group today as well.
I am. Thank you, Dan. You're amazing. You do this so well. When I filled in the other fortnight ago, I was so nervous. But thanks, Amanda, for contributing today and sharing your information with the wider TNG community. And we just have to give the apologies from Jeff at MyBiz, who said he will be watching the recording. And have a great long weekend, everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Again, Amanda, thanks for sharing your thoughts. And the next session will be in a fortnight. So we've got Tibor Macor, who will be sharing with us in a fortnight, 10:30, same time. So enjoy your Labour weekend, all us hard labourers.
And just before you go, we got our Google account suspended. And I just want to say that if you know of anyone, it's very stressful. But through the network, I got onto a guy that sorted it all for me, that's an expert in all things Google, and recovered my account. So for a month, I wasn't getting emails. My business profile page had gone. And it was through Carl introduced me to someone. He spoke about social media. A couple of, so I'm very grateful. So just wanted to pass that on. If you know anyone, I can recommend someone that's really good. Yeah. So,
Awesome. Glad you got that sorted, Richard.
Yeah. So
Definitely. Power of networking. So
yep, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time, Amanda, and thanks for joining in.
Thank you.
Later.
Thanks, Amanda. Bye.
Bye.